إن الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربي يرضى وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. So, the much anticipated second episode of our series, Who Are the Sa'afika? A lot of you are asking me about it. When is it coming out? And am I dropping it? Well, here it is, okay? So in this episode, we're talking about the signs of the Sa'afika. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about one of the signs is blind following Sheikh Rabee. So I want to divide this in a couple of parts. The first, I want to get right into one of the statements of one of our great scholars, Sheikh Abdur Muhyiddeen. I'm going to go into an example of how they blind follow Sheikh Rabee, and I also go into another statement of another big scholar, right? And I'm pretty sure some of these statements will shock some of you, right? But inshallah, it has to be said and it has to be spread. So let's get right into it. So Sheikh Abdur Muhyiddeen, he was asked this question, and it's written here in WhatsApp. So it says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shaykhuna, barakallah fiqh. Indi su'ala. So, okay, so Assalamu alaikum. May Allah reward you, our Shaykh. I have a question. هناك بعض الشباب سلفي يطعنون في شيخ محمد بن هادي المدخلي حفظه الله ورعاه excuse me وصفه بأوصاف بشع. Okay, بشع. So it says here that where are we here? Oh, here we have some Salafi youth. Here we have some Salafi youth who describe Sheikh Muhammad bin Hadi al-Madkhali, may Allah preserve him, and they say like bad things about him, right? Very bad things, right? So, and it continues. The question continues. ويقولون نحن نقول ما يقول شيخ ربيع المدخلي. And they say that we only say what Sheikh Rabee al-Madkhali says about him. فَمَا قَوْلَكَ يَا شيخ. So what do you say about that, O Sheikh? So Sheikh Abdur Rahman Muhyiddeen, he says, خطأ. This is a mistake. لا ينبغي, and it's not like this. And this is the big nuclear bomb right here. What he says here. He says, هؤلاء يعبدون ربيع. He says these people worship يعبدون ربيع. They worship Rabee. And أخطأ فهم معه. And if he makes a mistake, then they are with him. وعن أصح, I think is a typo here, but it's supposed to be وعن أصح ربيع فهم معه. And if he's correct, then they are with him. هذا لا يجوز, and this is not permissible. Right, so these are some very hefty statements from our Sheikh Abdur Rahman Muhyiddeen. He's teaching in the Haram. He's one of the major Kibar ulama and the senior scholars. So, and I will leave the link in the bottom so you can read it for yourselves. You see, I'm not making this up, right? And we're going to, right now, we're going to play an example of their Hizbiyah and their blind following Sheikh Rabee. And so just hold on to your horses.
So now, when we talk about this time, they say, why does the brother mention Sheikh Rabee, Sheikh Rabee, Sheikh Rabee? Because Sheikh Rabee is that man in this time, ya ikhwan. You ask any of them, all of Ahlul Bid'ah, they hate Rabee al-Madkhali. They hate him, ya ikhwan. So therefore, he has become a test for the people of Bid'ah and desires. So those who come to us, then yes, we test them with Sheikh Rabee. And we can test them with others. When we see from them some mukhalafat, or we see from them shubahat, then we test them with the ulama. We test them with Muqbil bin Hadi. We test them with Al-Albani. And we test them with Rabee al-Madkhali. Because Rabee al-Madkhali, as Sheikh Ubaid al-Jabri said, is a thorn in the necks of Ahlul Bid'ah. Ubaid al-Jabri said that about Rabee al-Madkhali. He's a thorn in their throats, ya ikhwan. It chokes them. They find it hard even to say his name. Rabee. Don't want to say it. Don't want to say, Wallah, you know, there was a Jew who rang me once after 9/11. They said that we heard that the Salafi movement, you know, that you're against terrorism and so on and so forth. So I said, let me use this opportunity to give this man da'wah. So I started talking about Tawheed and Sunnah, what Allah says in the Quran about the Yahud and the Nasara and so on. So I mentioned Jesus. He said, you can't use that word. I said, what? He said, we're not allowed to use that. There was a particular sect of Jews. They said, it is forbidden in our religion to say that word. I said, which word? Jesus? He said, yes, that word. Don't say Jesus. I said, Jesus. Jesus. Isa. The son of Mary. Wallahi, ya ikhwan. With these people, Rabee. They hate it, ya ikhwan. They hate it. So we test them with Rabee. We test them because a sign of a person's sunnah is his love of Rabee. If he hates Sheikh Rabee, then he is a mubtadi, ya ikhwan. Or he is a jahil. If he's a jahil, teach him. Say, you don't know Sheikh Rabee? Let me tell you about Sheikh Rabee. But if he knows and he continues to speak against Sheikh Rabee, or he finds a sickness in his heart or some difficulty in his heart with Sheikh Rabee, then know this person is a person of bid'ah. In every age you have people like this, ya ikhwan. You have people like this. Sheikh Rabee is a defender of the sunnah.
So as you can see, this Da'i, Abu Khadija, clearly says that we're going to use Sheikh Rabee as a scale, and we are going to test the people with Sheikh Rabee. So we have some statements of another very big scholar, Abdulaziz al-Rajihi, and we're going to find out what he thinks about that, inshallah.
تفضل. أحسن الله إليكم. السؤال الأول: ظهرت جماعة ممن تنتسب إلى السلف الصالح وإلى عقيدة أهل السنة والجماعة، وهذه الجماعة تمتحن إخوانهم بالأشخاص والمشايخ ويستدلون على كيف هذه الجماعة تمتحن؟ وهذه الجماعة تمتحن إخوانهم بالأشخاص والمشايخ ويستدلون على ذلك ببعض الآثار المروية عن السلف فمنها مثلا على سبيل المثال قال أبو حاتم الرازي رحمه الله: إذا رأيت الرجل يحب أحمد بن حنبل فاعلم أنه صاحب سنة، وإذا رأيته يبغض يحيى بن معين فاعلم أنه كذاب. وكذلك قال علي بن المديني: من تكلم في حماد فاتهموه في الدين. والآخر قال سفيان الثوري: امتحنوا أهل موصل بالمعافى، فمن ذكره بخير قلت هؤلاء أصحاب السنة والجماعة، ومن عابه قلت هؤلاء أصحاب بدع، إلى غير ذلك من الآثار. فاليوم هؤلاء الإخوة يمتحنوا الناس بالشيخ ربيع المدخلي، فمن ذكره بخير يقولون هو من أهل السنة والجماعة، ومن ذكره بسوء أو حتى لم يذكره بسوء يعني يقولون إنه مبتدع إذا لم يذكره بخير. فنحن نقول لهم: لماذا يا أيها الإخوة تمتحنون الناس بشيخ ربيع؟ لماذا لا تمتحنون الناس بشيخ العثيمين مثلا، أو شيخ النباز، أو شيخ الفوزان، أو شيخ الراجحي، أو شيخ عبد المحسن العباد، أو هؤلاء؟ فيقولون هؤلاء كل واحد يأخذ منه. السلفي هؤلاء كل واحد يأخذ عنهم العلم. يقولون السلفي
ايش كل واحد
هؤلاء العلماء كل واحد يأخذ عنهم العلم. السلفي
يأخذ عنه
والثاني والتكفيري والحدادي إلى آخره. فيقولون هؤلاء لا يصلحون للامتحان. أما الشيخ ربيع المدخلي فإنه هو الميزان. فهل هذا الكلام يصلح؟ وهل هذا الكلام يعني منهج أهل السنة والجماعة؟
لا، هذا كلام باطل. هذا كلام باطل. ربيع المدخلي ما يمثل السنة والجماعة، هذه مرسلات واحد كنا نمتحنه ونقول ايش تقول في ربيع المدخلي؟ هذا غلط، هذا غلط منهم. علينا ننصحهم بأن يتعلموا الكتاب والسنة، يقرأوا القرآن ويتفهموا معانيه ويقرأوا التفاسير المعتبرة تفاسير أهل السنة والجماعة، يقرأوا الحديث والفقه ويتركوا هذا حتى التصرفات هذا. قال ربيع هو رسول الآن، هو رسول عشان يسألوا عنه. هو رسول ربيع، يسأل عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، يسأل الإنسان إذا أولى بخبر يسأل عن ربه وعن نبيه وعن دينه، لا يسأل عن فلان ولا عن فلان. هذا غلط منهم. يقولون ان ربيع هو الميزان والعلماء السابقين كل ياخذ منهم. هذا غلط منهم. عليهم يرجع يأشكل عليهم شيء، يرجع الى العلماء، يقرأوا الكتاب والسنة ويتعلمون ويتفقهون ويتبصرون في دين الله وفي شريعة الله ويسألوا عما أشكل عليهم. يسأل رجل أهل العلم أما يجعل الميزان فلان وفلان، هذا خاطئ منهم. كنا نحن من قوله هو رب الله رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، ولو الميزان ربيع مدخلي هذا باطل. الميزان كتاب الله وسنة رسوله، ما هو ربيع ولا فلان ولا علان. فهمت؟
نعم فهمت. المشكلة أنهم يستدلون بأثر السلف ويقولون من علامات أهل السنة والجماعة أن يذكروا علماء أهل السنة بخير، ومنهم يقولون في هذا العصر الشيخ ربيع المدخلي.
السنة فقط محدودة هو الميزان. أهل السنة كثيرون، أهل السنة كثيرون، أوصاف في شخص معين.
نعم.
هذا باطل. هذا ينصح أن يتعلموا بالكتاب والسنة ويسألوا أهل العلم فيما أشكل عليهم، يرجعوا إلى أهل العلم. أما أن يكون الميزان شخص من أحبه أو تبع أو أخذ بقوله هو من السنة ومن ترك فهو من البدع، هذا باطل.
ومن كلامهم كذلك، يعني من كلامهم يقولون الشيخ ربيع المدخلي مقدم على أقوال جميع علماء الأحياء في هذا العصر فيما يتعلق بعلم الجرح والتعديل.
يعني أقوال ربيع مقدم على جميع أقوال أهل العصر؟
على جميع أقوال العلماء الأحياء في هذا الزمن فيما يتعلق بعلم الجرح والتعديل ونقد الرجال.
هذا باطل. هذا باطل. الجرح والتعديل انتهى. الجرح والتعديل للمحدثين وخلاص دولة في كتب الستة، خلاص ما في داعي الآن. انتهى الجرح والتعديل. الجرح والتعديل لرواة الحديث. أما ما به إلا الغيبة والنميمة. الغيبة والنميمة وكانت العلماء وفي غيرهم. هذا غيبة. هذا غيبة. لا يجوز الكلام في الناس ولا يجوز الكلام في العلماء. الجرح والتعديل إلا المحدثين وانتهى. فلا حاجة له. ما في جرح والتعديل الآن. ما في إلا غيبة والكلام في أعراض الناس.
يعني باب التحذير من أهل البدع ما زال موجودا صح؟
لا، بس ما البدع الإشرار والبدع يحذر منه. يحذر من عقيدة الرافضة، عقيدة المعتزلة، عقيدة الأشاعرة، عقيدة الصوفية المنحرفون. كذلك يحذر في كل وقت. الأشرار وأهل البدع وأهل الكفر الله يحذر منه في كل وقت.
هم يقولون يعني هذا منهج منتشر جدا، يعني في فرنسا هذا المنهج منتشر جدا في أوروبا كما تعرفون. مثلا يعني عندما واحد مثلا مجروح تكلم فيه الشيخ ربيع المدخلي ومزكى من ناحية أخرى، مثلا الشيخ عبد المحسن العباد زكاه، أو ما أعرف الشيخ الفوزان مثلا زكاه حفظه الله، هم يقولون لا نقدم كلام الشيخ ربيع لأنه متخصص في هذا الفن.
يعني جعله رسول، جعله ربيع رسول، جعله رسول. هذا باطل. هذا باطل. ربيع مثل غيره يخطئ ويصيب، ولا هو الميزان. الميزان كلام الله وكلام رسوله. يقولوا من الميزان ربيع.
So as you can see, Sheikh Abdulaziz Araji, he had some very, very harsh words for people who are making these claims that you're going to use Sheikh Rabee as a wazn or a scale you're gonna test the people with Sheikh Rabee, and saying things as has Rabee become the messenger and things of this nature, right? So he has some harsh words for the people who are blindly following Sheikh Rabee bin Hadi. So I just wanted to give some background, inshallah, to my hypothesis of how all this blind following started with Sheikh Rabee bin Hadi, Hafidhullah. So back in the day, right? A lot of Sheikh Rabee bin Hadi al-Madkhali, he refuted a lot of people from Ikhwan al-Muslimin, particularly Ikhwan al-Muslimin and the people who follow Sayyid Qutb and Muhammad Surur and these type of people. And he refuted them in detail. He actually, Sheikh Rabee, he wrote volumes of books, right, in Aqidah and Hadith, and he refuted them in these books in great detail. And a lot of people would ask, particularly from the three big shaykh like Sheikh Albani, Sheikh bin Baz, and Sheikh Uthaymeen rahimahullah, about Sheikh Rabee. And so Sheikh Uthaymeen rahimahullah, for example, he said, you're asking me about Rabee when you should be asking him about me. And Sheikh Albani rahimahullah, he famously said that Sheikh Rabee and Sheikh Muqbil are the imams of Jahr wa Ta'dil in our time. So you'll find these people kind of harping on these statements with Sheikh Rabee. And Sheikh Albani rahimahullah, he also said that people who don't like Sheikh Rabee are of two types. Either they're ignorant, they don't know, or they are from these Hizbi groups, like the groups that Sheikh Rabee he actually refuted, right? They're from those two. There's only two types of people, right? So Sheikh Albani rahimahullah, he said that. So Sheikh Rabee, he had even up to this day, he has a lot of support from the ulama for his works that he did against the Ikhwan, against the Qutubiyya, against the Sururiyya, against all these different groups. He has a lot of support from the ulama because his works are very invaluable. All right, so what these Sahafiq did, okay, what they did is they took the statements of the ulama and they started making their own rulings on Sheikh Rabee with that. For example, we will test the people with Sheikh Rabee. The first time I ever heard anybody say something like that, it was actually Abu Khadija. And not once in my life have I ever heard any alim ever say or order the people to go and test the people with Sheikh Rabee and test the people with Albani and test the people with any of the shaykh of our time, actually. I never heard any alim say that. The only person I ever heard say that was Abu Khadija, right? And people started following him in that. As well as at that time when the ulama were saying that yes, it is the Qutubiyya and the Sururiyya and Ikhwan al-Muslimin, at that time it was relevant, right? That was the truth. The people who used to hate Sheikh Rabee at that time were actually the Hizbis, right? But that's not the case in our time. In our time, it's not necessarily the case that it's only the Hizbiyun that have an aversion to Sheikh Rabee, and it's all because, 100% all because of the Sahafiq and how they position themselves with Sheikh Rabee. And they would be like these statements that you heard, that we will test the people with Sheikh Rabee. And they go around, they literally tested the people with Sheikh Rabee, and many people didn't even know who Sheikh Rabee was. Like, so many people didn't know who he was. So they would go around testing the people with Sheikh Rabee, and if they didn't know who you were, even if they didn't know who Sheikh Rabee was, they would like speak bad about them or disparage them or whatnot, right? So Now, what started happening after, especially after the fitna of Abu Hassan al-Ma'rabi, is that, well, before the fitna of Abu Hassan al-Ma'rabi, the Ikhwanis and the Qutbis and Sururis and these type of people, these people who are involved in politics and the people with the Khariji ideologies, they would all call anybody who refuted them, they would label them as Madakhila or Medkhalis, or they will label them as Jamia, like of the people who follow Muhammad al-Imam, Muhammad al-Jami, right? Muhammad al-Imam al-Jami, right? So that they started labeling the people like that, right? So this was the case back then. After the fitna, what these people started doing is because, you know, they're testing the people with Sheikh Rabee, right? When Sheikh Rabee gave that fatwa about if anybody follows Abul Hassan al-Ma'rabi, and you can refer back to my historical series to know what I'm talking about. If you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, just refer back to historical series, I believe it's number 6, the fitna, right? So refer back to it and you get a clear idea. But anyway, they would go back to Sheikh Rabee and they would say, this person, he's on the manhaj of Abu Hassan al-Ma'rabi, or that person is on the manhaj of Abu Hassan al-Ma'rabi. And Sheikh Rabee, he would instantly say that they are Mubtadi, or they're off it, they're not on the manhaj, they're not Salafi like this, right? So because of this, they got a lot of people refuted, right? Salafi, even good Salafis, right? So not everybody was necessarily Hizbi, right? So at any rate, and there's actually a nice, if you want to know, get a deeper detail of how that fitna was, you can listen to Shadid Muhammad and what happened when he visited Sheikh Rabee, and how Sheikh Rabee questioned him about Abu Hassan al-Ma'rabi. And anyway, he goes into great detail, so it's better to listen directly from him. Anyways, now started emerging different groups who had nothing to do with the Khawarij, had nothing to do with the Qutbis and the Sururis and Ikhwan. They were actually Salafis. And how do I know this? Because when I was in the match, okay, I heard with my own ears, right, that Allah created for me, okay, brothers who are obviously bigger, taller for them than I was, right, calling those people who were blind following Sheikh Rabee, like spubs, they were calling them Medkhalis. And these are Salafi brothers, not Hizbis, not Ikhwanis, not Qutbis. They were Salafi brothers. And they were saying that these people are Madakhila or Medkhalis. So why were they saying that? Because of their blind following Sheikh Rabee. So these statements from these two ulama, they're very damning statements against these Sa'afik, right? Because they can't claim that anybody else is blind following Sheikh. It's impossible. It's impossible to claim that anybody else is blind following Sheikh Rabee except for them. They're the only ones who do it, right? Who are you going to claim other than they themselves are blind following Sheikh Rabee, right? They can't get out of that one, right? So I hope, inshallah, this helps the brothers and the sisters, and especially this type of background information that you might not have known or how it was in the past, right? In the past, yes, it was only the Ikhwanis and the Qutbis and the Sunnis who were saying Madakhila and Sheikh Rabee like this. But now it's not like that. You find Salafis who say it. You do find Salafis who say it. Do I agree with the Salafis saying it? No, I don't. But even you will find even some very big Tulab al-Ilm, they might not come out openly and say it, but big Tulab al-Ilm, and even in some cases even like very knowledgeable people saying Madakhila like this because of these people who blind follow Sheikh Rabee. So that is episode 2, and I hope this was informative. And if you were in doubt about South Africa blindly following Sheikh Rabee, You should not be in doubt anymore. Subhanakallah bihamdik wa ashhadu an la ilaha ant wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Yeah, so I just wanted to add before I upload this video, because I know a lot of you will probably be shocked by this, right? So the first thing I wanted to say is that these are the statements of the ulama, right? They're the ones who are saying that they worship Rabee, and they're the ones who are saying they consider Rabee like a messenger. Not my statement. This is the first point. The second point is you shouldn't be surprised when Hizbis blind follow their shayukh. This happened through Islamic history. It happened many times throughout Islamic history, and we have examples, living examples in our time of this happening. You know, for example, the four madhahib, right? People blindly following the madhahib of the Hanafis, or blindly following the madhahib of the Malikis or whatnot. These four imams, they never ever called the people to blindly follow them. It's the people after them who called to the blindly following of these imams and their madhahib. Likewise, Imam Abul Hasan al-Ash'ari, right? This imam is blindly followed by the Ash'ari, even though he made tawbah for his beliefs. He made an open tawbah for his beliefs, but still the Ash'ari, they blindly follow him, right? And he is an imam of Ahlul Sunnah, right? So likewise, pretty much any Sufi tariqah, if you just pick one, pick any Sufi tariqah, they all those Sufi tariqahs, all of them, right, blindly follow their shayukh, right? So you have people blindly following imams of the Sunnah. You have people blindly following imams of bid'ah, right? So don't be surprised. Like, you shouldn't be surprised when people blindly follow other people. Our manhaj is not to blindly follow. We don't do that, right? So what is upon you is just not to blindly follow, right? And because we say that they blindly follow Sheikh Rabee, it has nothing to do with as a disparagement of Sheikh Rabee. As a matter of fact, Sheikh Rabee, he hates this a lot, and he's mentioned this many times, but yet still they insist. And it's proof enough that none of the ulama from the Kibar have ever said to use Sheikh Rabee as a scale. Not a single one of them. All of them say the same thing. They all say that any alim can be accepted or rejected, including Sheikh Rabee himself. So I just wanted to get that out before I upload this video, inshallah.